charges, Worcester DA, hey, 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 we're here to say, drop the charges, Worcester DA, hey, hey, we're here to say, drop the charges, Worcester DA, hey, hey, we're here to say, drop the charges, Worcester DA, hey.
This is only one step in the fight back against this repression, right? We had on Friday, we picketed out front the courthouse while the hearing was going on. We actually flooded, we flooded the courtroom. Actually, I saw like 80 people at one point.
We want to announce, we announced there, that there's already been some of the charges dropped. So I think we should recognize that we have momentum on our side. Around the country, people are facing charges from the protests over the summer.
14,000 people were arrested during this movement. 14,000 people. These are regular people, right? These are like teachers of the year who are getting arrested for going out and protesting.
So charges are also getting dropped in a lot of places because there's a movement being built preventing civil rights movement. So primarily people are facing servants for failure to disperse disorderly conduct. A number of those charges were dropped. So there are dozens of videos and photographic evidence that people have from the events that they want to bring in as part of their defense in their proceedings. And it doesn't sound like the DA and the judge are too friendly to that. I don't think we should be surprised. Evidence that was filmed that night is not, they don't want to deem that relevant to their case.
There's a cruel irony in the fact that while these 19 defendants who do everything in their power to avoid prosecution for the great crime of protesting, or in some cases not even that, sometimes just filming a protest on their own lawns, that the police who fired on them with pepper bullets and smoke grenades are walking around unencumbered.
So what's important now is that we recognize some of the charges have been dropped, but some people are still facing all of their charges, in addition to the ones who had some of them dropped, and are still facing a remainder.
So what do we do now? We got a little, partial victory. We got some scraps. So do we all, go home? This is what done? No, we don't, right? Because these charges, the number one reason these charges were levied is not to put these people in prison. The number one reason these charges were levied is to intimidate protesters. These charges were dropped because they thought we don't go home.
If there's one thing that we learned after the initial Black Lives Matter explosion all those years ago, is that we can go to rallies, we can go to protests, we can use our energy, we can feel good after it, and then what happens? People go home, and months and years pass until someone else is killed, and then we come out again.
So the next legal date is out in January. That's a while away, and I think they're doing that because they want us to forget. They want us to calm down. They want us to take a step back, take a breather.
Ain't gonna happen.
We're right here, and we're going to fight this until all of these charges are dropped, right?
It's important to remember, taking that into consideration, that while we're here for the 19 defendants whose charges, absurd charges, need to be dropped, this is much bigger than that as well. And we have to understand that we are part of a larger struggle, and that the only way that we can continue this struggle is through direct action, through what we're doing here today, through turning out and turning everyone we know out and continuing this.
It is through a mass movement, right? Getting out here like this. This is what we do. That's what's going to get these charges dropped, is if we fight for it.
But we are going to be there also for throughout the nationwide struggle. No matter how this turns out, when we get these charges dropped, we are going to continue the struggle, and we are not going to stop until police are held accountable, and police will not be held accountable until the capitalism is held accountable. They are serving their capitalist owners, these police, and they're not going to stop doing that until we address that imbalance of power.
We need to realize in this country, no matter what laws we have, no matter what judges we appoint, no matter what DAs we elect, right? You know, replacing Joe Early isn't going to get rid of this problem. It might help, but you know, these political charges are going to be levied as long as our country, the way this country is set up, it works for the rich, right? And we need to do away with that if we want any hope of getting rid of, you know, these political charges. If we want any hope of getting rid of these attacks on our democratic rights.
No one is going to stand for us at City Hall. We saw how they voted before. They just got voted up for another 15% police budget increase here in the Worcester City Hall. That's $250,000 that they just gave to them. By the way, they also fired 106 public school teachers while they did it.
Everybody that's here today needs to commit to building this to be as big, as broad as possible, and be there again in January and every opportunity in between now and then.
And what we need to be doing is we need to be out here all the time, but using our energy strategically, targeting the things that we need to target, and carrying this fight on against the city, against the DA, against the police department, and organizing our energy collectively as best we can. And so for that, we need a strategy. To come up with that strategy, we need groups, we need activists, we need organizers to discuss and decide democratically the way to take this movement forward, not only in this city, not only in this state, not only in this country, but all around the world.
So like I said, the Independent Socialist Group initiated this, but we reached out to other groups as soon as we went public to try and get support, and some of those groups are here.
If you are here, if you know people who weren't here, get in touch with ISG, not because we want to run this thing, but because we want to bring everybody together to decide how to run this thing. Bring your friends, bring your family, bring any organizations you know to the table, and we will decide what to do between now and the next court date in January.
So I encourage everybody to get involved with the campaign, build the solidarity campaign into something strong that can fight not only for these protesters, but to defend the entire anti-racist movement, which is under attack by police repression, and build it not just in Worcester, not just in Massachusetts, but all around the country and all around the world, because the same fight's happening in Nigeria, in South Africa, and other countries around the world.
So whether it's public meetings, it's protests, it's marches, it's leafleting campaigns, we can decide what we need to do and how to win this fight. And we're not going to stop until we get there. Thank you, everybody, for starting out. Stay safe, keep in touch, and let's keep working for the next steps in this fight back. Thank you.